Welcome back to Just Chattin', and this is the series of videos we do on Thursday and Sunday evenings just for our own entertainment. So, I am going to start experimenting with different formats for these videos because a lot of people, after the last video, which was about, maybe 30% shorter than average, seemed fine with that format. And I get it. I do not like listening to long videos myself. I always figured that was mostly because I have the attention span of a fruit fly. But could I listen to me talk for half an hour? Well, if you put a gun to my head, yes, I could. But we're going to try to bring it down to a slightly more manageable chunk of time. But don't worry. We won't lose any content because I can talk really, really, really fast when I need to. For all you Audie fans, he is asleep in the bedroom. He had a very exciting day. The mailman came, the UPS man came, and an Amazon delivery driver came. All of them within the space of about a half an hour while he was sitting out on the porch enjoying his outdoor time. Now, he helps. When delivery drivers come, he examines what they bring. He tries to tell them where to put it. I don't know if they listen to him, but he likes to be part of that process. But mostly, he just loves the company. He just likes somebody coming to visit a cat. And by the way, anybody who comes anywhere near my house is here to visit the cat. He knows it. So he's probably just sleeping off the excitement. He may show up, he may not, who knows. We'll just have to wait and see. We are going to break very briefly for our intro, and we will be right back. So, our dear friend Nutmeg has been on a PR blitz lately. I have several articles in the video notes. As always, you get my sources. They are available to you, so you don't need to take my word for it. If you question my interpretation, by all means, go to the source, make your own interpretation. She is trying desperately to reclaim some of her lost popularity. And there was a time, of course, when she did have popularity. She is scraping the bottom of the barrel now, but it has not always been this way. And I have a number of articles that are so favorable, one would think she might have written them herself. And by the way, I think she did. But before we get into any of that, I really need to target something that she said, because she's not bright. We all know this. She is not bright. Despite, and you'll see that in these articles, her claiming that she was always the smart one, all I can say is she must have been hanging with a very dumb crowd if she was the bright one. She says, if you are rushed getting through the countdown to your holiday meal, what you should do is cut your vegetables in advance. No, you shouldn't do this. I really felt I had to address this just as a public service announcement. No. Your vegetables, and yes, I know, this is 7th grade home economics. By the way, I am qualified to teach that. 7th grade home economics for you. A vegetable has a protective coating. We call that a skin. As soon as you cut into that skin, the vegetable begins to degrade. It starts to decay. It starts to lose its vitamins. It starts to lose its minerals. It loses its moisture. It loses its texture. It loses its flavor. And it does this very, very quickly. So even prepping your vegetables a day in advance is a huge mistake. Don't do it. She's an idiot. Don't listen to her advice. So your approaching the holiday dinner and you're getting flustered and you're thinking, I don't have time for all this, here's your answer instead. Call your mom and say, Mom, can you bring a pumpkin pie? Call your friend, Mary Lou, can you bring the potatoes? Bob, can you bring the gravy? That's how you do it. If you've taken on too much to handle within that limited time frame for yourself, ask your guests to pitch in. Most of them would be more than happy to do so. But do not get it into your head that it's a good idea to serve your guests vegetables that are decaying and have started to lose their vitamins and have started to lose their minerals and have started to lose their moisture. No, 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 no. That is sloppy. Also, if you have a lovely recipe, been in your family for generations, and you're preparing to lay this out on Thanksgiving Day or Christmas Day or whatever, pick your holiday, do not throw flour sprinkles over it. Now, flour sprinkles may not have much flavor, but they do have some flavor, and they are going to change not just the appearance of the food, which is the only thing nutmeg's concerned about. They will change the texture, the consistency, and the flavor. Don't do it. If you have a good recipe, don't just throw flour sprinkles over it willy-nilly. You might want to experiment. Hey, let's throw some flour sprinkles and get a few people to taste this. I promise you it's not going to go over big, but still, you can do a little experimenting. But don't just throw flour sprinkles or any other garden weed on top of your dinner simply because nutmeg is telling you it'll look more attractive that way. It might. Maybe some people like that. I can't say I do. But it will also change the flavor. It will change the texture. So, no. Ignore her. This woman is an idiot. She is not Julia Child, and she has no business pontificating on the culinary arts as if she has even an ounce of skill, talent, or training in this area. So, yeah, she's just a moron spouting off. But because she has a platform, she has celebrity, it's being reported by the media. So yeah, people are getting this as advice, but please don't take it. You could end up, I wouldn't say you could end up ruining your holiday dinner, because I think you'd have to go a little further than she's willing to go to do that. But you could bring your holiday dinner from that 10 out of 10 the family has come to expect down to an 8 out of 10, and who wants that? All right. So enough of my public service announcement. Ignore her culinary arts advice. She has no expertise in this arena. Now let's take a bigger and broader look at this new PR run that she is doing. And we've got some things I really do want to point out. So let's start with Harper's Bazaar. This is one of those articles wildly favorable and just nauseating, which is one of the reasons I'm not going to go through it with you, because I can't do that. My stomach is just not strong enough to go through one of her nauseating PR publications. I did want to point out something, though, and that is I took a good hard look at the photos, which I am sharing with you here. And I got to tell you, this one in particular, I looked at this and said, good Lord, this is a woman who looks like she is strung out. She honestly looks like she cannot wait for her next fix. I have no idea what she is going for in this look, but it is scary. It is sort of, I don't know, New York City junkie circa 1996. That's what I'm going to put it at. Fact is, there was a time when Nutmeg was a reasonably pretty woman. Was she stunningly beautiful? No. No. You want stunningly beautiful, you got to go back to England and haul Catherine out. But Nutmeg, no, this is not, as the sock puppet said, what did he say, heart attack gorgeous? No, that's Catherine. That is not Nutmeg. But she did look a lot better than she's looking now, which is frightening. I'm surprised she can't see it, but again, I suspect she has had cosmetic work done. It has probably been done to her satisfaction, so she seems to be anxious to show it off. Do I think anybody is going to be agreeing with her that this was good work and the end product was great? No, I really do not think so. Nevertheless, that seems to be what she's going for. Furthermore, she is working on this new narrative, which is a variation of the, oh, we're so in love. Now, she's been playing that from the get-go. Oh, we're so in love. But now the new spin is, my husband is such a fox, and he is so insanely in love with me, boldly in love with me. Like, really, that's a word she used. Now, I think there is a reason for this. I think the rumors circulating that the sock puppet is ready to abandon the family and go back home to the UK are probably at least reasonably credible at this point. And Nutmeg, of course, needs to keep him. She's got to be the one to leave. I mean, we all know that, right? The marriage is eventually going to collapse, but she has to be the one to leave. It doesn't end until she says it does. Remember, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. So I think this new spin on it, which is brand new, is that Harry is the most gorgeous creature on the planet, and he is so insanely in love with her. I think that is, in part, to box him in. She's telling the world he's so in love with her, he has to play along, doesn't he? And he's such a fox because obviously, in part, it's because that elevates her status. What kind of catch is she if she's been caught by a reasonably unattractive idiot, which is what the facts are? Harry is not a good-looking man. Harry is at best an average-looking man. Now, most men in his socioeconomic bracket would spend more money on their personal upkeep. So if Harry actually invested more in his personal grooming, in getting a good hairstylist, where he needs that, I don't know, I would think most people, again, in his socioeconomic bracket, would have gone in for cosmetic dentistry a long time ago, because he certainly does have weird little rat teeth, doesn't he? And I think he should be elevating his wardrobe considerably, and maybe he should be spending a little more time at the gym than he is spending under the bridge talking to his drug dealer. That would certainly help his physical appearance. You know, back off the substances, get a little more physical exercise, get a good hairstyle, deal with your grooming a little more, upgrade your wardrobe. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he might, with enough tweaks and enough luck, be an 8 out of 10. Much more than that, no. He just simply does not have, he doesn't have the genetics for it. He's ended up inheriting the worst of both sides of his family, which is too bad. Unlike William, who seems to have gotten the best, didn't he? And interestingly enough, that was from day one. William was a much more attractive child than Harry was. I'm sorry to say it. You know, but not all children are beautiful. Harry was not a beautiful child. But I don't know how Nutmeg is hoping to convince the world that Harry is such a fox, fox being her word, but I know she needs to, because if Harry is, as I say, an average-looking man with a low IQ, what does that make her for hooking up with him? Because, in fact, we all know that she married the title, she married the position, she married the money. She did not marry the man. That was like the baggage that came along with the stuff she was after. And I do think at this point she is starting to look at nurturing that side of the relationship a little more. Why? Because she certainly needs to. If he walks away from her, she's done like dinner. Absolutely. She is done. So, is this something she needs to deal with? Yes. Does she need to get the rest of us on board? Maybe. Maybe because it will enhance her own status. But I think the one person she really needs to get on board is the sock puppet. I think she needs for him to believe that she adores him and dotes on him. And I gotta wonder, dealing with this woman for the past several years, which I cannot imagine would be pleasant, because I don't think being around her is pleasant on any level, and I think her staff would bear me out on that one. Maybe, he's having second thoughts moving away now. She needs to rope him back in, because she is not done with him yet. So I find this very, very interesting, largely because I think Nutmeg is probably reverting back to the same tactics she used when she initially sunk her claws into this man. She managed to convince him that she was the catch of the century. Does anybody remember the way he was talking about her in the beginning? Certainly we have more of the same when he was describing these days in Spare. He was so smitten, and I think she needs to just bring him back to that point. Is she going to be able to do it? I don't know. I really don't know. I will tell you this, and I've mentioned this before. We know that when Nutmeg was a teenager, she was obsessed with the book, The Rules, and that was a strategy she brought to bear when she was man-trapping. I got a copy of that recently. I've been reading through it, and yeah, I will eventually do something about that. When I finish reading the book and I start putting this all together, I will, because already, and I am only like 2 chapters into it, already I am seeing some of her game plan unfolding in the pages of this book. Pretty clear about how exactly she managed to snag this guy. But, of course, he's not the only one she snagged. She ended up snagging Trevor Engelson, Corey Vitiello, and these are 2 men who are not developmentally delayed. These are men with a lot to offer, as opposed to Harry, who has title, money, position, which I guess some women would consider a lot to offer, but most women would say the price is not worth what they would be getting. Not men. But do I think that this is where she is going? Yes, I do. I think we are watching a new narrative unfolding. Nutmeg the likable. Nutmeg bringing the sock puppet back into the fold because she loves him and she adores him and he's so handsome and he is her knight in shining armor. Do I think it will work? I don't know. Maybe. It's worked before. Would I say it's a slam dunk? No. Problem is, these tactics usually work well on someone the first time around. But once you have snagged your man and then devalued him, cast him aside, and you try to snag him again, the same old tricks usually just don't work as well. I'm not sure Nutmeg's bright enough to perceive that, but we are seeing the new narrative playing out. I think the next big thing we are going to be seeing is obviously her little holiday special, and I think following her failure to outshine Catherine, which clearly is what she was trying to do with the Christmas special, we all know that's not going to work. That is a no-brainer. I think in the aftermath of that debacle, we are probably going to see yet another new narrative. Anyway, that is what I have for you today. Audie did not come out and join us. Sorry about that. We are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. Hope to see you again next time. And in the meantime, have a terrific day.